25 years. Imagine that, 25 years. Because you know what? I'm only 25. So 25 years, it's amazing to me when I was asked to come speak at New Beginnings. 25 years. Wow. Bobby, 25 years. It's amazing. 25 years of chiropractic philosophy, the things you and I love. You know, typically, and I'm blessed that I've been asked to speak at New Beginnings a handful of times here. And I talk a lot about patients and kids and getting people adjusted for the right reasons and all these things. But 25 years, wow, Ernie, 25 years. Very reflective. This New Beginnings is very reflective for me the last 25 years. So I was thinking, 25 years, where was I 25 years ago? Because I wasn't here at the first New Beginnings 25 years ago. Here's where I was 25 years ago. I was in clinic 25 years ago. So this is me in clinic with the big glasses on and the big blue coat, taking care of patients that then, like I take care of patients now. 25 years ago was amazing. This is where I was 25 years ago. And those of you who are students, raise your hand, students. Everybody give the students a hand. Because this is really the motivating factor here with the students. Because this is where it all starts when you're a student. You're alive, you're ready to, you've been going through school and hitting the books and learning math. And what do you do? And I was with the students at dinner. And they were just asking, they were hungry, like, tell me, what can I do? What do I do in practice? What do I do when I get out in my community? And all these different great questions. And guess what? 25 years from now, you're going to be up here or wherever you are in your practice or in your community. You're going to be saying the same thing that I'm saying to you now. Just keep doing what you're doing, keep loving what you love. And if you keep doing what you love, it never gets old. It never, ever, ever gets old. Kathy, it never gets old. It never gets old. So it was amazing to me that we are honoring such a great man in our profession, Dr. Guy Reichman. So, and 25 years ago was my first experience being with Guy Reichman at a seminar. And one of the things 25 years ago that still holds true for me today is something that he said at that seminar 25 years ago. And what he said was a quote. It says, "The powerful play of life goes on, and you may contribute a verse." The powerful play of life goes on, and you may contribute a verse. It's from Dead Poets Society. Who here ever saw the movie Dead Poets Society? Back then, I didn't know it was from Dead Poets Society. I just thought he was really being really profound. But the powerful play of life goes on, and you may contribute a verse. And that hit me right between my eyes and right in my heart. It's like, damn, I'm a student. I'm about to graduate. How am I going to do this? What am I going to hang my hat on? What kind of verse am I going to contribute? Where am I going to go to contribute? Where am I going to get all the patients to contribute to? But it hit me really home, like the powerful play of life goes on. And I get to decide what kind of verse I get to contribute. So it's amazing to me in 25 years, the different people that have been through my life, and this guy right here has been with me for a little bit longer than the 25 years, because I am 48, I lied, I'm not 25, I am 48. So there have been so many great people in my life, including both my brothers. I have another picture of my other brother, I don't leave him out, don't worry about it, you've got a picture of him too. So all these great people in my life with New Beginnings, and as I've been here through the years, and there have been some years that I haven't been here, and then more often than not I have. But it's very reflective of what I've learned here at New Beginnings and how I continue to practice and how I continue to try to motivate myself and my patients and my practice members. And I have now practice members that now are 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 years, 24 years, because I've now been in practice for 24 years. We're getting on 25, but I've been in practice for 24 years. All right, you can give me a bigger round of applause. Come on. I deserve that, right, Patty? Yeah, why not? So this is my other brother, Jordan Plasker, on the left, and my cousin Scott Ackerman on the right. Both chiropractors. Again, very reflective. Because I just actually lost my Uncle Howie, who was Scott's father. You know what? His profession, he owned a pharmacy. And my brother Eric will tell you that he used to deliver drugs. Yeah, he used to deliver drugs for Uncle Howie. Yeah, isn't that amazing? Yeah. So the powerful play of life goes on. You may contribute a verse. So you get to decide what kind of verse you're going to contribute. Every day that you're in practice, every day with your family, you get to decide and you get a choice. It's the amazing thing about life. You get to choose what you're going to contribute. So one of the ways that I contribute is coming to New Beginnings, whether I'm speaking or not. You know, I learned to love to speak at New Beginnings. But it's my presence here, my decision of how I'm going to contribute is actually to come and participate with all of you beautiful, beautiful people. Because you are beautiful people, because you love what I love. And you stand for what I stand for, which is having people live an active, healthy life throughout their lifetime, if that's what they choose to contribute. So it's really, really important. Thank you so much to the board for having me contribute. All the people along the way, Ernie, thank you so much for what you've contributed, because it's made such a big difference in my life. And I'm hoping and praying that I am delivering the message as you have given to me and passed on to me, that I'm passing it on to my patients, that they need to live an active, healthy life if that's what they choose. And how do we do that? We communicate, right? There's so many different ways to communicate, right, Rose? Communicate from the heart. That's right. So we communicate from the heart, and there's so many different ways to contribute. Here's something that my brother put together. Here's the tree. Most of you, who here has seen the tree, whether you want to be like the tree on the right or the tree like the left? So there's so many different ways you can communicate. There's so many great tools. What a great tool that we saw a little earlier about how, talking about the brain and how the nervous system and how the spine is connected to the brain. And then we were talking with the students how, yeah, the subluxation or the peripheral nerve, it goes all the way out to the fingertips. It's also connected to the brain. So this spine and nervous system is really, 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 really important to keep it active and healthy. Yes? Everybody say yes. Yes. Hell yeah. Yep. So this is just one way you can communicate. You can ask a patient, which tree or which side of the tree would you like to be? Tell me, would you like to be like the tree on the right or the tree on the left? Yell it out. Well, you're looking at it. On the right side. I got confused the first time I used the poster too, don't worry about it. So if you want to live like the tree on the right, because the trunk there and it actually has a spine in the trunk, you can actually explain to a patient that your lifeline needs to be clear. And in order for it to be clear, it needs no interference, and that's what we do, and that's what I do as a chiropractor. So here's how I know I can help. When you come to me, here's how I know that I can help you. We're going to check your spine for something called a vertebral subluxation. What the hell is that? What it means is if you have an interference in your nervous system through the spine, that's how I know I can help. Well, can you take care of my back pain? Well, we'll see how that works. Well, all I know is if you have an interference to your nervous system, then I know I can help. And guess what? If we take care of that nerve interference, what do you think is going to happen potentially to that back pain, Patty? Might go away. Yeah. Is your life going to be better off with the interference or without it? So what would you like to do? Would you like to get your spine checked? Don't make it hard. Don't make it hard. It's easy. So there's so many different ways you can communicate. You can communicate with your words, you can communicate with your heart, or you sometimes can have a whiteboard in your office that says life is a puzzle. Make sure you have all the pieces. Doesn't that frustrate the hell out of you when you're working on a puzzle and you can't find the last piece? Doesn't it just piss you off? So that's like a subluxation. It just pisses you off. And you get angry, you get frustrated, you got pain, you get all this stuff. So make sure you have all the pieces. That includes chiropractic, nutrition, and stress management, and family, and exercise, and friends, and lifestyle. Make those choices that you know you want to make sure your puzzle pieces are all together. And what do you think is going to happen when your puzzle pieces come together? What do you think is going to happen? Yeah, life's going to work better. Will it always work? No, because sometimes you knock on the table and a piece falls off. But guess what? You know how and you know where to come to put some of those pieces back together, and that's come to my office. To get you adjusted, to clear you. To make sure that your nervous system is running the way it's supposed to, from above down and inside out. What do you think? You like that? Yeah. So sometimes you have to put on the whiteboard. You got to make it really, really simple for people. And again, you don't have to talk about it all the time. Visual, Facebook we were just talking about, amplified, all these different things, the visualness of how people communicate. Comes from words, comes from the heart, comes from the written word, but it also just comes from pictures. So here's simple. This is the neuron, the axon, the messaging system. You got to process it. Don't mess with the messaging system. Get adjusted. Get adjusted. Or maybe it's something like this. Maybe it's a subluxation. Subluxations block the normal flow of electrical impulses from the brain to the body and then back up to the brain. And you got a power plant. And so what's your power plant? It's your brain. The switch is the subluxation. Do you want your switch turned on or you want your switch turned off? On, baby. Say it loud. I want my switch on. Oh. It's a different seminar down the road. Just kidding. So the end organ of the body. So it's the body, it's the organs, because it affects everything. One of the coolest compliments I've ever received in practice, coolest compliments I ever received in practice, was from a 6-year-old chiropractic, the daughter of a chiropractor. So it was a chiropractor in my next town who was coming getting adjusted. Yeah. Her brother needed a bone marrow transplant. Again, chiropractors, shit happens to chiropractors. You know, it's amazing to me. It's like, well, you get adjusted. Well, how come like people are sick sometimes? You know what? Sometimes your body needs to express itself, right? And we're not in control here. So her little brother needed a bone marrow transplant, and the chiropractor was freaking out that his son needed a bone marrow transplant. You know, everybody just for a second, just think of Palmer for a second. Jim's son. Just think of him for just a second. Bring some healing energy to Palmer. Shit happens. I feel like shit's been happening all in 2016. I'm going to get to the little girl in a second, but shit happens in 2016, at least in my world. It's been a little frustrating. 5 months, right? January, February, March, April, May. There's been someone that I know close to me that has been in the hospital all 5 months. We'll start with my mom, who had a hysterectomy because she was an elective surgery, 75 years old, she decided to have a hysterectomy. We'll leave that one alone. But a hysterectomy at 75 years old, and they gave her some NSAIDs, just in case she had inflammation after the surgery. 5 days later, she threw up blood. Thank goodness she knew her body, because she has been getting adjusted regularly for the last 70 years. She still needed 10 transfusions. Over a 5-day period. She almost died. but she's a healer, and she's a fighter. And she has all those pieces of her puzzle together. So she did heal from that. And she is alive and well, and ready and raring to go, because she's now retiring from her position at 75 with our community, and now she's going to become a life coach. 75 years old. Yeah. Say, way cool. Yeah. So the greatest compliment, I'm sorry to go off on that tangent, but the greatest compliment I ever had was from this little girl who was a chiropractic daughter. She said, "Dad, this is the coolest power-on store I ever came into." Because the chiropractor would say, your power's on, your power's on. If your power's off, let's turn it back on. So I thought that was the coolest compliment. So again, just little communication ways to communicate. We got all kinds of things. And listen, I'm going to give a plug, because I always have to, for my brother, Dr. Plasker, who has put out a lot of great stuff. And yeah, he's my brother. Yes, I'm biased. Absolutely, yes, I'm biased. There's no question. My brother, I'm definitely biased to my brother. But he's got some really good stuff. Call him up, use some stuff. It's really good to communicate with patients about the principles of chiropractic. So this is not one of his stuff. There's a whiteboard messaging system that's out there it's been sold and stuff, but we put together some stuff in our offices. When the big bad subluxation comes knocking at your door, do you want to ignore it? Do you want to mask it, or do you want to get adjusted? Visual. Have fun with it. So there's things that inspire me. New Beginnings is one of those things, but not as much as my beautiful wife, Lori. She inspires me to do what I do, to make sure that what I do is making a difference. She's home with my 3 kids, and you'll see them in a second, taking care of some things at our home, which is great, taking care of them. So I can do what I do, which is hopefully communicate some good thoughts and hopefully inspire some of you to go out in your communities with your family and do what I love, which is to educate people on the value, which we have tremendous value. There has never been a better time to become a chiropractor. We're living longer and longer. I know I heard the story just before that this generation is going to not live as long as we do. What bullshit. Not if we continue to tell the story about living an active, healthy, vitalistic life and put your puzzle pieces together. Because it's really not just about the adjustment. It's about the connection that adjustment makes. It's that triune. You got to connect it. And it's not just with the adjustment. It's with the choices that you make. And each one of you here in this room has the choice to help others connect, to make sure that you're doing your part and they're doing their part to live an active, healthy life. And that's what drives me. That is my verse. When I heard that, living an active, healthy lifestyle, when I heard that, that was my connection to what verse that I wanted to contribute. For my wife, for my 3 kids, it's my verse. So I'm going to ask of you as I complete tonight for myself in my particular talk, that the powerful play of life goes on. This is something else that Guy said. He said, with or without you. But the powerful play of life goes on. What verse would you like to contribute? Enjoy the rest of the weekend.